Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are stepping into the shoes of a senior tech lead to uncover the hidden superpower of a tool that's probably sitting open on your machine right now. Yep, we're talking about Visual Studio Code. But listen, we are not looking at it as just some lightweight code editor today. No way. We're going to treat it as the ultimate operational nexus for enterprise IT support and infrastructure engineering.
So let's just be real for a second about the current reality for a lot of IT professionals. You are already using VS Code, sure, but you're probably only using about 20% of what it can actually do. If you're basically just treating it like a fancy digital notepad to parse script, you're missing out on a massive amount of its true potential. Today, we're going to challenge that workflow. We're shifting away from basic text manipulation and stepping into the world of true operations as code. As you'll see, we've got 10 specific features lined up that will literally cut your debug time in half. All right, let's jump straight into Cluster 1, the basics supercharged.
We want to make that cool, dark theme, split screen setup of yours work much, much harder for you. So here are the first 4 features that will immediately upgrade your core text editing and terminal management game. We're looking at the workspace-aware integrated terminal, multi-cursor editing, JSON Prettify with schema validation, and log file syntax highlighting. Let's break down exactly why these are absolute game changers for your daily operations. Just look at the difference here. On the one hand, you've got clunky, disconnected external command prompt windows floating all over your screen. On the other, a sleek, workspace-aware integrated terminal. This terminal naturally inherits your exact project context. It lets you run multiple profiles, like imagine having a bash shell monitoring a production server right next to an AWS Cloud CLI tab, totally side by side. You are completely eliminating that mental friction of constantly alt-tabbing between a million disparate windows. Moving right along to feature 2, let's see how this builds your efficiency with multi-cursor editing. Imagine you need to update a deprecated IP address across a massive server hosts file, or maybe a really bulky Nginx configuration. Instead of crossing your fingers and relying on a risky find and replace all, you just follow these quick keystrokes. Highlight the target IP, press Ctrl-D to select the next occurrence, and then just type. You're editing all of those selected instances safely and simultaneously. It's precision bulk editing at its absolute finest. Now, we all know the primary task of production support is diagnosing failure through logs, right? But honestly, staring at a dense, monotone wall of raw text is just begging for serious eye fatigue. Instead, grab the log file highlighter extension. Instantly, your logs get this beautiful, semantic, color-coded syntax. Fatal, error, and warn events literally jump right out at you in high-visibility colors. It even spots guides and MAC addresses for you. It takes a totally tedious read and turns it into a rapid analytical exercise. Okay, moving on to Cluster 2, Remote, Inspection, and APIs. This is where we bridge the gap between your local environment and your remote enterprise infrastructure. We're talking about tools that bring the server directly to you. That includes the REST client extension, Remote SSH, inline Git diffs, and the regex search editor. These are essentially your remote server inspection and web service validation tools, all operating directly from your editor.
The absolutely crucial point here is how we handle remote servers. The remote SSH extension, it is a total game changer. It securely tunnels your local VS Code UI straight to a lightweight VS Code server running on your remote machine. And why is this so huge? Because it means absolutely zero sensitive source code or configuration data ever has to reside on your local workstation. You get this super secure, live, full GUI server inspection experience, all while maintaining strict enterprise compliance. Next up is the REST client extension. Look, if you're troubleshooting microservices or APIs, you really don't need a heavy, memory-hogging external GUI application dragging your machine down. The REST client actually turns simple text files into executable API runbooks. You literally just type your HTTP request right there in the editor, hit send request, and boom, view the response in a split pane. And since these are just text files, your entire team can share and version control these diagnostic scripts effortlessly.
Speaking of version control, I want you to compare the absolute nightmare of blind configuration overwrites on a remote server with VS Code's native inline Git diffs. Whether you prefer an inline or a side-by-side view, tracking configuration changes natively saves you from those disastrous, day-ruining merge conflicts on production servers. You can see exactly what lines were deleted and inserted before you ever hit commit. Next up, Cluster 3, Automating Repetitive Checks. A truly great IT support engineer shouldn't be manually typing the exact same diagnostic commands 50 times a day, right? We have to automate that kind of repetitive toil. So, our final two features in the top 10 are workspace snippets for ticket templates and custom task runners. These are the mechanisms that take VS Code from a simple editor and transform it into your own personal automated assistant. Let's look at just how amazingly easy it is to set up a custom task runner. You open your tasks JSON file in your workspace. Then you define a custom shell script command, say a script that pings your staging database and tails the last 50 lines of an error log. Once that's set, you can run that task instantly via the command palette. Or, better yet, bind it to a custom keyboard shortcut. You've just automated a whole multi-step diagnostic check into a single satisfying keystroke. All right, let's put it all together. Scenario, the webhook debug. Let's see these features in action in a real-world scenario, the ultimate boss fight for an IT support engineer. The incident. A messy, totally unformatted 5,000-line JSON payload drops from a webhook and immediately crashes your backend service. The clock is ticking, users are experiencing downtime, your heart's beating a little faster, and all you have is this massive block of minified text. So how are we going to triage this using only VS Code? We're going to methodically execute these 4 steps. First, paste that 5,000-line nightmare right into a new file and set the language to JSON. Second, and this feels like pure magic, press Shift plus Alt plus F to prettify the JSON. Instantly, VS Code transforms that chaotic minified string into a structured, easily readable tree. Third, we execute a regex search right there in the editor to quickly hunt down the known error string. And finally, relying on VS Code's bracket pair colorization, we can visually isolate the exact faulty field or missing bracket that's causing the crash. Think about the alternative here. Scrolling endlessly through a flat file in some legacy editor, relying purely on visual guesswork? Forget it. With instant structural isolation, combining formatting, bracket colorization, and advanced regex search, your mean time to repair just dropped from an hour of sweating to a matter of minutes. Let's do a quick recap, the 10 features. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, shifting completely over to a full operations as code methodology. Here is your brand new tool belt, the integrated terminal to orchestrate your commands seamlessly. Multi-cursor editing for crazy fast precision bulk updates. JSON Prettify and log highlighting to ensure your data is actually, readable. The REST client and remote SSH to reach out and touch your remote servers securely. Git devs and regex search for bulletproof configuration and log tracking. And rounding it out, workspace snippets and task runners to automate the repetitive grind right out of your day. So I want to leave you with one final, very important question. If you've only been using 20% of Visual Studio Code up until now, which 80% are you going to unlock today? Seriously, stop treating your editor like a digital notepad. Customize your workspace, grab these extensions, and take total control of your infrastructure. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.